worth group at banks, right? So basically trade desk, investment 101, and then decided to break out on my own and got acquired. So I got acquired by a bank, went into the banking sector on the private banking side, and just noticed a really big gap in the industry about 6 years ago. So we created Sparta to be the family office level solution for entrepreneurs, businesses, their family, to really bring some of the top tier strategies, if you will, that are only available to maybe ultra affluent folks down to a lot of folks that need that from a sophistication standpoint. So we're really the family office level solution for a lot of folks that may not qualify from a liquid assets perspective, that kind of thing.
I know we talked a little bit offline about that. So in my world, this podcast is basically about, we call it Between the Chairs. Essentially, it's healthcare providers that want to be entrepreneurs, want to have their own space. So, you're talking not only doing your work, but you got to have financing, you got to have leadership, you got to have your physical space. We've talked to people about that and everything that comes between it, insurance and all that stuff. But when it comes to financing, where does that fit in with individual groups? Do you work with individual people, or do you got that? Or are you more like, how would somebody approach Sparta?
Yeah, so we've got 10 folks on the team.
Yeah.
I lead the firm, but I'm also an advisor as well. So kind of like you, Sam, you're practicing, but you're also leading and developing strategy across the firm. So we help people arrange financing. We're not a lender.
Yeah.
But what we do is coordinate banks, both traditional banks and then non-traditional lenders, to try to get access to capital for folks that may want to buy into a practice, may want to grow, that may or may not be bankable, right? So a lot of the banks have metrics that, not to get too technical, that can be pretty constraining for somebody that's just kind of starting out. So one of the things that we try to do is just get a complete picture of the individual's finances and figure out where we can, create opportunities for additional capital streams and increase cash flow.
In full disclosure, Sparta has done this for me, and this recently we're buying a little bit more into the practice, the BWC practice. And so is that kind of a traditional way to go, or are y'all looming out into that, or is this as you grow? Because I know you started it.
Yeah. So we've grown. I think, proud to say, I think we were just the fastest growing RIA, so Registered Investment Advisor in the Carolinas. But really all that means is that from a managing investment standpoint, financial planning, you mentioned insurance, just how all those things come together, there are strategies that you can access capital off of doing those things that are non-traditional, as opposed to just going to get a commercial loan from a bank.
Right.
So we try to bring all those things to bear. We have a lot of private lenders that'll do sophisticated and kind of custom transactions.
Yeah. So long story short, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. There's not just a traditional way. So
exactly,
people come to you to figure out those type of things.
Yeah. We genuinely enjoy doing it. So we take a look at the whole picture and put together a few thoughts and then coordinate from there.
Now you saw a gap in the industry. You're like, we're going to do Sparta. Was there a day, a moment, or when you were with this bank, you're like, all right, I'm going to go back private again. I'm just going to I'm going to work here for a little bit, and I know eventually I'm going to do this? Or was there a moment like, I'm starting, I'm doing mine?
Yeah, I mean, so...
we're going to call it Sparta.
Yeah.
It's a cool name.
Yeah, so Sparta is a connotation. I've been a contractor for U.S. Special Operations Command and Joint Special Operations Command, so I'm a little bit of a unique bird in that I carry a security clearance, and I kind of am known as the financial engineer for a lot of these disruptive technology companies, a lot of entrepreneurs that are trying to grow and get access to capital. Well, those companies aren't bankable. Yeah. So in the private bank setting, I was really interacting more with like private equity and venture capital groups than your traditional bank guy. You mentioned kind of how things got started. I was the keynote speaker for the UNC graduating School of Dentistry several years ago, and I I talked about bonds and interest rates and negative movements in stocks and just correlation factors. And I brought free pizza, and that was the only thing that people gathered away from my whole presentation was just the pizza at the end, until I drove out in the parking lot and hit an entire family. And then everyone called me afterwards for life and disability insurance that everyone had been pitching them on, as what's happened sometimes in our industry.
To be clear, you T-boned a car in the parking lot.
I did. Their entire family. It was a big insurance claim. Luckily, I've got an umbrella policy, which I recommend for most people to have. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Especially you and I should.
Yeah, I think lifestyle-wise, umbrellas, Max umbrella is good.
Max it out. Max it out. So Sparta's making some moves now. Y'all got y'all moving new office. What's going on there?
We're moving in this week. We've grown, expanded. We've got advisors in Florida. I've hired some from Charles Schwab in Arizona. So we're in multiple states. We also have a broker-dealer that's headquartered in Wilmington, Delaware. So there's about 150 of me on our platform, but specifically Sparta, we're up to 10 folks now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So with the expansion, have you where the headache's been, where the hey, do we need to hire this person yet? Is it soon enough? How do you go through, what's your model in your business going through that? Because I know in the dental world, sometimes you got to have a little bit of burn rate to get up. We know we don't have as many patients as we need, but we want to have people there when they do show up. Is that kind of?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of similarities between the dental space and us. We've invested in people, so I've tried to bring on folks that are energetic, that are motivated, that kind of don't want to get cog of the wirehouse or the bank model I mentioned before, that they kind of come in, they don't own their book of business, they can't move between custodians and do flexible things. So we've invested a lot in the people. We just brought on a new analyst to really sift through portfolios, presentation materials, and just trying to simplify a lot of complicated topics.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Speaking of complicated topics, seems super boring, but very interesting to us people that pay a lot of them, taxes. If you don't know Blair, he is he's an expert in, we call him a super connector. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But taxes, what's your strategy for maybe a individual entrepreneur, owns a practice? Is there any cool, we'll stick with dental right now. I know you've had some cool ideas and
yeah. So especially with the new bill being passed, the biggest considerations right now are a lot of folks are W-2 and don't think that they can mitigate or lower their income tax liability. And for a lot of people that have advisors, consultants, CPAs that are kind of in a bigger chassis versus an independent model, that's a true statement because they don't have access to different tools to do that. Mm-hmm. So the biggest things going on right now are there are vehicles that can essentially wipe out or eliminate a lot of tax liability if you're a W-2 and you're trying to branch out and build your own business. The tax considerations can be, hey, how do I offset ordinary income, right? And there's things that can do what's called intangible drilling costs. Those are oil and gas type investments. They kick off about an 8 to 10% return per year. They're illiquid. So there's pros and cons with that. The biggest one that's really prevalent right now is real estate. Mm-hmm. So bonus depreciation in a new bill has gone to 100%. So a lot of people think, hey, I own a couple of rental properties. I might be a real estate professional. How do I lower my tax liability from my practice income? I'm a practicing dentist, but I also invest in real estate. Mm-hmm. So you can do that with things called bonus depreciation, either direct investments in real estate or you can use funds. And you can offset capital gains. So let's say you've got a stock portfolio, you've been sitting on NVIDIA and Amazon for 3 years and you don't want to sell them. You can offset capital gains. You can like-kind exchange real estate. So let's say you're wanting to invest into a new real estate project. There's things called 1031 DSTs or Delaware Statutory Trusts. And these are funds that essentially defer your capital gains And then lastly, I'd say the second hottest topic has been opportunity zones. So a lot of people are having a liquidity event. They're selling a practice, right? And they want to make sure they don't pay capital gains on the sale. A lot of people use real estate as an underlying investment in an opportunity zone that can defer or even eliminate gains over a 10-year period.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's crazy. So this is not something you're going to find on TurboTax. This is part of this is what Randolph always makes his appearance on the pod.
Randolph was excited about that one.
Yeah. But yeah, if you try to do your own taxes or go to a regular CPA, you're not going to get this information. So this is something that a wealth management group like Sparta, this is part of the advantage of being under that.
Yeah, I mean, we're a little bit biased on that, but I would say that, your big wirehouses that are going to outspend me on marketing and billion-dollar buildings are not going to offer those kind of strategies typically because they're designing things for 500,000 people at a time versus one or two. So I would say a sophisticated CPA is always paramount.
Yeah.
And I'd say that the biggest thing that we see is reactive planning. So, hey, I've got this business or I've got this building that's going to sell. What am I supposed to do with the proceeds? You want to start those conversations 6 months in advance, 3 months in advance. There's different time periods you have to actually defer those gains.
Yeah.
So, I would say the biggest thing is just being proactive about it versus reactive.
So don't have many clients like me that tell you at the last second that I need to offset some real estate sales.
You're an anomaly, Sam. I'll leave the details out, but we do a lot to help you coordinate.
Yes.
So you want somebody to coordinate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Coordinate.
Yeah.
But yeah, so tax is always a big one. That's awesome. It's not something that we want to think about a lot, but it's super important. I've just recently gone over to Sparta myself, and it's taken a lot off my plate. So as you're doing other things, let the guys that know what they're doing do their thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, we genuinely enjoy this stuff. So I tell people all the time, we help people answer a myriad of questions. We're not attorneys, we're not CPAs, so I'm not filing your tax return. But I've never seen a situation where we can't go behind something and find a gap or an opportunity to help someone somewhere.
Right. So you're the problem solver, or finding solutions to things that they might not even know are there.
Exactly.
Which is always needed.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, where's Sparta going from here? Do you want to keep it small, or are you trying to grow it? What's the next step?
So we don't want to be the biggest firm. You lose a lot of customization. We're at a good size right now. I think we've invested a lot in the people and technology and processes that we have. In my industry right now, the independent model, so the RIA model is what I own, a registered investment advisor. We are the fastest growing segment of the wealth industry just because of the flexibility it provides.
Yeah.
So I'm always talking to advisors that want to transition out of banks. But I would say trajectory-wise, hoping to be somewhere in that $1 billion figure in the next 5 years. Yeah.
It's a good goal.
Yeah.
And I know you'll get there because as we were talking about before, we got some other buddies in here. We all consider you a super connector. There's not a room that you can go into where, I don't know how your brain ticks, but it ticks a little bit different than mine, where it's, oh yeah, this guy might want to talk to this guy. Your recall is amazing, even after a few adult beverages, which is impressive.
It is. I take Vyvanse in full disclosure, so
okay.
It keeps me focused.
There you go. We need that focus.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's super important, and I can tell you genuinely care about it. There's been a lot of relationships he's set me up with where you've had nothing to gain, financially, and it's not part of you, but you can tell you genuinely enjoy getting this person with that person, and helps a lot. So, getting somebody like Sparta on your team seems like it's super important.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it, Sam. We love doing this stuff, and if anybody's out there and needs a second opinion, I'll use a medical term, a second opinion, or just want some help overall, we're happy to do that.
So do you have an avatar for the people listening out there? Is there a minimum threshold? Is there somebody, because sometimes it's intimidating for people that could be just starting. They don't know what to do, so they get the generic guy that is the first person to walk into their practice or whatever. Maybe their partner uses it, or the guy that they're working for uses a family friend or something. So it can be intimidating, to be honest.
Right.
What's your thought process on that? And then I'll let you go.
So we don't have a minimum. I get that question a lot. We have a lot of different ways to engage. So it's not just investment management for people, right? Like we can find tax savings. We can find opportunities that are not just investments or insurance or product driven.
Right.
So we don't really have a minimum. I would say for someone that's out there that is trying to buy a practice, build a practice, continue growing a practice, some sophistication out there where you're maybe owning a few investment properties. We can find a lot of opportunities on the real estate side. Certainly if you've got a lot of tax liability, right? So even if you're a W-2, we can mitigate a lot of that liability with just tools that we have.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So nobody be intimidating. Worst case scenario, you meet with them and they say, hey, you might be better fit somewhere else. Well, cool. Well, we'll wrap this up. Appreciate you coming on. And if we'll put all the information on Sparta in the show notes and everything. But man.
Yeah,
appreciate
thanks for
you
having us. Yeah,
absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Be sure to leave a rating, hit that subscribe button, and if you have more questions, you can reach out to me directly at sam@bwcortho.com. That's sam@bwcortho.com. You can also visit our website, bwcortho.com, and we will be happy to answer any questions you might have.